So, it is now just on 5 p.m. I managed to finish my dinner consisting of a small quiche, a small round chocolate sponge thing, and my can of lemon flavoured fizzy water. So, what else did occur while you were away? Yeah, the food kind of sprayed around a little bit, but I managed to keep most of it on the tray, which is good. Quite often, if I start a meal, it's very difficult for me to finish it because the last little bit sort of sticks in the corners and it's really difficult to get out without spraying it all over the place. So, yeah, that's a small problem, no doubt, for many. I guess I'm very fortunate in that I have only a Parkinson's treble, a tremor dominant Parkinson's disease, which is refractory, which means it doesn't respond well to medication, nor apparently to the deep brain stimulation. I need to follow those rules. And it's quite challenging when you have to follow those rules when you're traveling and you've got medication that you have to take on a specific time. You have to eat your food according to a very strict interpretation or timing. You can't just rely on other people to get the food for you. You have to have it ready for yourself. And calculating that through can be challenging, particularly when you also have small vessel disease, which is a disease of the brain which affects the memory. What else is relevant here? I was talking about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, because that's sometimes how I feel. At the moment, you're talking to a Mr. Hyde, because I'm not in the on state, which kind of haven't seen for a week or two in some ways. Sometimes I think I'm in the on state, but then it just quickly deteriorates. The on state being a time when you can sort of hold the hand still, which of course isn't the situation at the moment. Yeah, as I was saying, I think I'm fortunate because I don't have any of the freezing episodes, nor do I have any severe dystonia, although that is something that can be stimulated if I switch to the wrong program. Not that I'm doing that. All is under strict medical supervision, and I'm pleased with the work they're doing so far, although I'd like to see some more positive results. The analogy of Hyde and Jekyll, yeah. It's Jekyll, it's the loss of dopamine in my brain, which has caused the emergence of Mr. Hyde. Now, Mr. Hyde isn't necessarily stronger, but he is certainly more stupid. He's unable to remember things, even basic things like postcodes and telephone numbers, names of people that he's working with, incidents which occurred recently. So memory is definitely an issue at times. That's why I put in various coping strategies. I tend to write down a lot of things, write emails to myself, and make documents where I can record what has happened and when they occurred. Things like medical histories, things like employment, and all sorts of things which are necessary for a modern life. These are challenged by the disease, which makes it very difficult at times to communicate. Particularly telephones are very difficult to use because, of course, I'm trying to type and do gestures on a keyboard. And, well, when I say keyboard, of course, I mean a screen. And so the screen is sort of not following me around. It's just trying to, wait for a very gentle touch. I looked at one of those mouth stylus devices. It's about £700. I can't afford that. So I've also experimented using the fact that Google has a voice recognition system into it, which is great until you start trying to use it, and then you run into all sorts of problems, like the fact that when you say, "Hello, Google," I get three different devices answering at the same time. I've got the Google device, so I've got my phone, and oh yeah, a watch as well, which also tries to respond. Other things which are of relevance, yeah, interruptions can be a bit challenging. When I get a telephone call and I'm in the middle of an activity, and I then forget what was I doing. Why did I walk into this room? I'm sure these are things which are familiar to most of us, particularly as we age. I'm not sure that it's entirely an age-related disease, but certainly that is a characteristic of it, that one tends to lose track of what things are happening, and it's very difficult to follow, for example, multiple threads of a conversation. If you have a conversation, it's quite often necessary for you to write down anything that's important. Of course, writing is impossible. So there you are. There's another fun fact about tremor-dominant Parkinsonism. So what I thought I'd do, just for the entertainment value, is record the screen of a computer as I'm trying to use it to achieve or accomplish something useful, which isn't easy, of course, as you can probably guess. I've also ordered one of these devices which is intended to be used to compensate for the movements of a mouse, so that once the mouse is moving, it should be able to calculate the way the movement occurs and respond, and help to slow down and allow me to use the mouse more effectively. Because at the moment, when I try to use the mouse, it clicks multiple times on the same location, and trying to get any degree of precision can be a real challenge. What else? Yes, there's plenty to talk about. There's no question of that. It's just getting it into the right format so that the brain can describe what's happening. So I talked about the difficulty of communication. Yeah, that's particularly difficult when other people are speaking to you. You have to stop and think and try to get the words into the right order so that there is some sort of degree of communication. Yeah. I seem to be improving a little bit at the moment, probably because I took the medication at 4 p.m. That was an hour ago, but yeah, it isn't an on state. I mean, it's now 7 minutes past 5 p.m. and this just seems to continue it almost without cease. I think it doesn't, the tremor doesn't occur when I'm asleep. I haven't had confirmation of that, but I hope to get some confirmation soon. I'm pretty sure that it disengages that part of the brain when you are sleeping, which is why sleeping is actually something which I do enjoy. Because I don't have the tremor. Trying to do anything which requires fine motor control can be a real challenge. I spent like 10 minutes just 10 minutes trying to put a screw into where it should go. And that's sort of not ideal. Yes, it's all sorts of fun on the front of Parkinson's disease. Yeah, what should one do if one has Parkinson's disease? Well, I'm very good at talking about the things which I don't do. For example, one should be running, if not sprinting, engaging in all sorts of aerobic activities. And one should, of course, be stretching and using resistance training. I have a resistance band. It's something which is a real challenge for me to use. And of course, you should be eating only nutrient-dense food so that you get the best nutrients available, so that they're absorbed appropriately in the gut, and that can then be made available to repair the rest of the body as is required. Yeah, so naturally one does get into a sort of mordant frame of mind. So, for example, I was thinking about What is likely to be the thing that finishes me off? Is it going to be the melanoma? Well, that's interesting because the melanoma is something which is actually, well, I've had melanoma, I've had them excised successfully so far, but they'll come back probably. And one of the things that's interesting about the Matopar medication is that it can increase your percentage chance of getting more melanoma. So that's a little bit of fun. The heart seems okay. I don't know, maybe that will pop off soon. Sometimes it feels when I'm in the middle of a particularly stressful situation, I feel that my blood pressure is increasing. So I consider that a stroke is a possibility. However, I'm worried that it won't be a stroke that just finishes me off, but a stroke that puts me in a situation where I have brain damage and therefore I'm unable to operate as I would like with my independence. Yeah. So I think this is quite revelatory, revealing a lot about my internal dialogue. Yeah, that's really would be nice not to have this constant tremor. However, this is not the sort of disease which can be fixed, at least not with the current technology that we have, since we do not know exactly how the proteins should be folded, which cause the death of the dopamine nerve bodies, whatever they are. And other things that we should be doing. So, good nutrition, stretching, lots of exercise, keeping a positive attitude, which for some reason I seem to manage, even though I know that this disease is irreversible and it will get a lot worse before it gets better. And there's probably more to discuss, but this video is getting a bit long now. No one's really interested in me wittering on like this. So, yeah, I'll try to put in a few fun things later. And, I just got a message popping up. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, to those of my viewers, thank you very much for watching this so far. And I'll bid you adieu. And hopefully I'll be able to get some video edited and get this uploaded sometime before the end of the week. Or at the weekend is probably more likely. Thank you. Bye.